Which is the fastest growing population or age group that you think is at most risk for abusing or misusing drugs? If you guess the elderly generation, you're right. The elderly generation is the fastest growing population in the United States. And one of the contributors to that, to the abuse or misuse, the risk of it, is a lot of baby boomers are retiring and moving into the geriatric age group. These baby boomers, they are accustomed to illegal drugs and prescription drugs. They've grown up in a drug culture. Also, they're more amenable to drug use. It's more accepted among them as opposed to prior generations who did not take drugs that often. Also, they are prescribed more drugs than anybody, any age group in the United States. So we're going to talk about benzodiazepines, and these would include Xanax, Ambien, and drugs in that category. These are abused because they're not monitored, and most adults, older adults are on this, and they're on these because of underlying conditions. So those are really a great potential for abuse. Also, we have the opioids. Opioids are painkillers. And also, as with the benzodiazepines, they are prescribed prescription because they have other infirmities without knowing the possibility for addiction. Or they know they have the addiction, but they can still get the medication because the physician pharmacist does not associate a geriatric or elderly senior with substance abuse, and that's why it's such a great risk factor, and it's such a concern right now in the addiction field. We also have the risk of alcohol misuse and abuse, and there are two types of alcohol abuse, two types category. We have the early onset and the late onset. Early onset, they've probably been drinking for years, and by now they're probably having medical issues from the drinking, and they probably don't get along well with their family. Then we have the late onset. These are people who started drinking in their 30s and 40s. Symptoms are just now starting to come up. You don't really associate them with drug use or abuse, alcohol use or abuse, but actually they are falling to the category because of the infirmities and not knowing. And how are some of the ways that they're getting this medication and they're undetected? Well, a lot of times friends will give friends medication. Hey, my leg hurts, my knee hurts. Oh, I've been so nervous. Well, here, take this. That's common among them. They don't go out into the streets or out in the public to get their medication. The doctors prescribe the medication. Some of the risk and some of the problems of getting them into assessing them is they will not self-refer themselves normally. They isolate themselves, so it's very hard to see that or to notice that. As I said, they get the prescriptions for the medication and they isolate, and plenty of times they're in denial. And that can be expected. You would expect that with the senior citizen to just all of a sudden say, oh, you have a problem with drug use and misuse. And of course, a lot of the stigma goes along with that. There's more information, including this public service announcement, about what to look for, signs and symptoms of what to look for. And we all care about our elderly population. And this public announcement is just being presented to make you aware of the risk of substance abuse in senior citizens. This has been presented by Bridgett King. For more risk factors, reference people who participated and added to this public service announcement, please see the reference list. Very good references, very good information. We love our senior citizens, and we have to always be aware and remember that they just don't know all the time, but we need to be willing to help. Thank you.